Lloyd was an insecure, ugly loser who was the weakest in his village, but when he went to the kingdom to join the magic academy, he turned out to be overpowered and made the biggest harem by impressing everyone with his powers. In his village, Lloyd was trying to catch a rabbit, but that rabbit was the winner of American Ninja Warrior and bullied the fuck out of him. So his brother Shoma caught the rabbit and he immediately ran after him to hug him. When he got older, he moved to the house of a witch named Marie, and she thought that he was there to get his wish fulfilled, telling him his wish would only be fulfilled if he was ready to make a big sacrifice. He was there to stay with her for a while so he could become a soldier, and she screamed at him to find an inn because her house wasn't an orphanage. However, when he revealed that he was from the village of Kunlun, whose chief was Alka, who summoned herself through a crystal ball, Marie agreed, and Alka told her apprentice to take care of him. She couldn't answer any questions that Marier had, as the image was just a recording, so she started to curse the pea-sized girl. But Alka had lied, and Marie's soul left her body when she heard that. When she was gone, Marie threw the crystal ball in the wardrobe and called Alka ugly hag. Afterward, he pointed Lloyd to the room he would stay at, and Alka arrived yet again in her real body, and revealed that the crystal was a teleportation device. Since Lloyd was a soft, dumb kid, she wanted to make sure that Marie wouldn't try to use him as her personal pleasure machine, and used ancient rune magic to give her the curse of small repeated misfortunes for calling her an ugly hag. When she left, the curse kicked in, and she fell, saying that the little just used the magic from an ancient civilization just for the sake of making life annoying for her. The next day, she woke up and saw Lloyd preparing breakfast for the both of them. He apologized for using her kitchen, and when they were done eating breakfast, she asked why he wanted to become a soldier, so he told her that he was a weak noob in his village and wanted to turn into someone tough and cool. He was here to take the entrance exam at the Academy of the Kingdom of Azami, and since it had a combat test, he revealed that stamina was his weakness, and it took him 6 days to get here because of it. Marie thought that getting here in 6 days through a train was normal, but Lloyd revealed that he ran thousands of kilometers and killed a bunch of monsters that were just bugs in his eyes and only considered demon lords a monster. She told him that he was pretty strong and wondered just how insecure a person can be. She accidentally spilled tea on her face, and Lloyd wiped it out with a cloth that had an ancient rune on it that made her skin softer than cotton. It was just a home remedy for him, but Marie knew that it was the discard rune that could be used to remove, and she had been trying to learn it for more than 6 years. He thought that she was banging her head because of how weak he was, and apologized for being a noob. He then went around the city, and when a girl named Selin was about to get eaten by a huge locust, Lloyd jumped on its head and threw that insect into space. He helped her get up and cleaned her face, which embarrassed her, and he took her leave as he had other stuff to do. Experiencing love at first sight, she wondered if makeup would help her look good, but she had a cursed belt on her face and was bullied her whole life because of it. However, the belt removed itself, and with tears raining down her face, she thought that Lloyd was the man of her destiny. The next morning arrived, and he gave Marie a gift for allowing him to become a freeloader. Outside the military academy, a noble named Alan and Selin got into an argument with each other, and Riho, who was standing beside Lloyd, wondered if he was even human, as there was a tremendously powerful aura around him. When he moved his arm to complement her metal arm, she took a battle stance out of fear, and he apologized for scaring her with his ugly voice. Out of nowhere, Selin arrived and shoved Riho into the wall, as no other girl was allowed to get close to her precious Lloyd. Her meat curtain got hotter than a volcano, and she told Riho that only she was allowed to ride that harem enjoyer. During the test day, the instructor Murthoffen and Riho were losing their minds about how strong Lloyd was, but when the test results were revealed, his name was nowhere to be seen on the board. At the academy, Colin finished introducing all the new students, and the ones who knew Lloyd were worried, as he was nowhere to be seen. And Murthoffen thought that without Lloyd, the military force would be too weak for the eventual war with the Jiu Empire. As everyone expressed the lack of that harem enjoyer in their own way, Colin told everyone that there would be a reward for anyone who would find the missing princess. On his way home, a locust attacked Lloyd, but he just brushed it off and went to a restaurant for a job. The owner Chrome immediately jumped at him, as he was startled by his overwhelming power, and wondered what he was there for. Lloyd wanted to do a part-time job there, and said that he could do everything, so he told him to demonstrate his skills, and he started to make a risotto for him. He told him that he just failed the entrance exam, but Chrome couldn't believe it. The answers he had written on the written exams were just a bunch of doodles, but Colin told everyone that those were ancient runes, and threw Murthoffen in a chandelier, as he didn't know about it. When Lloyd had finished preparing the dish, Chrome thought that he would strike him the moment he would put the spoon in his mouth, But to his surprise, nothing like that happened, and he loved the dish. Colin wanted to look for Lloyd, so Riho and Selin told her that they would find Lloyd and the princess at the same time. When he told Alka and Marie that he failed the test, they couldn't believe it, and Alka was about to destroy this whole kingdom. But Lloyd told her that he would take the exam again next year and wanted to stay here, as he had found himself a part-time job. When Alka allowed it, he went to make dinner, and Marie told Alka that the kingdom needed protection, as King Azami had turned into an advocate of war in the last 5 years, and there was someone who secretly controlled the king. But the villagers of Kunlun only assisted when the threat was beyond human comprehension, like a demon lord or a big disaster. 4 years ago, she went to Alka so she could learn the discard rune from her, and use it on the king to free him from the person who was controlling him. Alka understood her intentions, but warned her not to involve Lloyd in this, as otherwise, she would take him back to Kunlun immediately. At the restaurant where Lloyd worked at, Riho and Murthoffen were talking about the plan to find both the princess and Lloyd. The place was more popular than usual, as it was famous for its bad food and dirty floors. But this time, everything had changed. Riho wondered who Chrome was, so Murthoffen told her that he was the personal escort to the princess, and resigned after she went missing. When their food arrived, they started to dig into it, as it was extremely good, and spilled it all out when they saw Lloyd working there. When he went out to put up the trash, he tossed a locust into the air like it was a ball, and saw Marie and some students going into an alleyway as there was a monster there. Selin and Alan got into a fight again, as she pulled out all the chest hair of the man who was hitting on another, and Alan told her that it was no way for a noble like her to act. He charged at her to smash her with his axe, but Selin's belt tossed the axe away, and she thought that it must be the blessing of Lloyd. He arrived there, and she immediately went to meet the man who had the meat of her destiny. The situation escalated, and when everyone arrived there, they decided that Lloyd and Alan should battle it out with each other. He was too proud of his toughness and lowered his face so Lloyd could hit him with all his might. Everyone thought that he was dead for real, and as Lloyd was about to separate his head from his body, Marie arrived and took him away under the cover of a tornado. Being the insecure bitch he was, Lloyd thanked Marie for saving him and offered to do anything for her, so she told him that he shouldn't offer such things, as it tempts her to make him go countless rounds on her whole day. When Chrome arrived there, he told Lloyd to go back to the restaurant, and revealed that Marie was the missing princess of the kingdom. She told him that the culprit would soon manipulate the king, and declare war on the Jiu Empire on the 3rd day of an upcoming festival, and asked him for his help. At the academy, Murthoffen was working overtime, and Colin asked why he worked tirelessly every day, so he told her that there was a famine in his village. The Jew army used this opportunity to attack them, and took whatever little supplies they had, so he worked so hard to make sure that something like that would never happen again. After searching for a long time, Selin and Rhea still had no clue where Lloyd was, so they decided to visit Marie for information, and got shocked when Lloyd opened the door. They got inside, and as Selin was acting mad over him, Rhea wondered how strong Lloyd must be to unlock the belt on her head. That made her think that she was bound to him by fate. Marie got home, and a malicious aura appeared around Selin, as she got jealous after realizing that he lived with a woman. Rhea showed her the picture of the princess, and asked if she knew anything about her. Even though she refused, Rhea felt that Marie was hiding something, as she resembled the princess. Selin told her that if they would find the princess, they could get Lloyd into the academy as a reward, so she offered to trade information, and asked them to spare any secret details about the kingdom, as it was in grave danger. Since they had probably already guessed, Marie thought that she should reveal that she was the princess. Lloyd arrived with tea for everyone, and told Marie that she was the savior of this kingdom, and nothing else, as he saw her protecting people in secret, and offered to help her to save the kingdom. But since Alka had warned her not to involve him, she told him that he wasn't strong enough, and his words about doing his best were hollow, and he couldn't achieve anything by saying that he will. Hearing this, he got sad and left the room, and she used this opportunity to tell the girls that she was the princess. Seeing how she treated Lloyd, the girl asked about her reasons for acting like that, and asked if she knew how strong he was. So she told them about the village of Kunlun that forbids its villagers from getting involved in human conflicts, and asked for their help to save the kingdom. When she was sitting on the roof, Alka arrived and complimented her for keeping Lloyd out of it, but for putting the crystal in a well, she cursed her to fall from the roof. During the annual festival, Alka saw a gloomy Lloyd, who still hadn't recovered from not getting admitted in the academy. And on top of that, Marie acted like a bitch to him, so she wanted to use this opportunity to help him feel better. As she was about to shove a banana in his mouth, the locust monsters attacked the public, and Chrome met the king to ask him to take him back into the military. After the investigation from Selin and Riho, Chrome knew that Murthoffen was the one who was controlling the king, and he told Chrome that a foolish king like this deserved to be a puppet. Marie arrived there as well, and the king, who was being controlled by the demon Lord Abaddon, threw Murthoffen into a wall and revealed that he had manipulated him all this time. Using his powers, he converted him into his minion, and Chrome told Marie to go after the king while they would hold him off. He headbutted Riho, and Marie followed the king to throne room. She attacked the king with a barrage of magic of different elements, and used the cover of fog to get close to him, and used the discard rune. But the king threw her away and broke her arm. She couldn't die just yet, as she hadn't apologized to Lloyd for treating him like shit. And when it was revealed that the demon Lord Abaddon was controlling her, she screamed at him. After all, she wouldn't have had to get into a fight with Lloyd, and just ask Alka to help her, as the threat was a demon lord. Moving towards the castle, Lloyd killed a locust, and saw Alan, who was hiding out of fear of monsters. After he encouraged him, Alan got the strength to get back on his feet, and killed a monster when Lloyd went away. He saw a huge magic circle in the sky made by Alka, and since the enemy was a demon lord, she rained meteors from the sky to destroy every monster in an instant. In the castle, Murthoffen was turning out to be too much for them to handle, and Riho told Selin to make Lloyd come here somehow. To do that, she insisted Murthoffen to attack her, and told him that a little nudity would be appreciated, as the hero would always arrive to save the heroine when she would get into trouble. When Murthoffen attacked her, her belt automatically deflected all the attacks, and she wondered how she would get the being held by a boy while nude status if that kept going on. Since it was going nowhere, Riho wanted Selin to keep Murthoffen occupied, and went out to look for Lloyd, but he had already arrived, and Selin immediately jumped at the man of her dreams. But he ignored her, and asked Chrome if he was okay. Lloyd started to talk no jutsu Murthoffen, and as he was about to return back to his true self, the dumb told him to stop cosplaying like a moron, and not get drunk so much, so Murthoffen returned back to being a demon, and attacked him. But he just bounced around the room when Lloyd attacked him. He got unconscious because of his attack, and Marie arrived at their location, and hugged Lloyd immediately. The king followed her, and he thought that he was doing some sort of cosplay as well, so Marie tricked Lloyd into believing that his face was dirty, and made him wipe him down with the discard rune. The king tried to stop him, but Lloyd casually deflected his attack like it was nothing, and made the demon lord go away. She hugged him once again for saving her, and Selin told her to step away from him instantly. The next day, the repair work around the kingdom was going on smoothly, and Lloyd ran into his brother Shoma, who came here to deliver some goods. But when Alka arrived there with a chocolate banana, he vanished instantly. Chrome was back to being a member of the military, and asked Colin if Murthoffen was her love interest. Hearing this, she destroyed his baby-making machine, and asked where Murthoffen was, so he told her that the Royal Academy had sent him to the village of Kunlun to do hard labor. He was battling monsters there, and when he was finished, Alka took him to the wheat fields that grew all year, and he realized that she was the person who gave his village free wheat during the famine. At Marie's house later, Alka saw Lloyd naked, and turned on her recording mood, but Marie threw her to the ground, and told her to keep her horny in check. As they were talking, Lloyd came out wearing the Academy's uniform, and they couldn't keep their floodgates from opening. Riho and Selin arrived soon after, and he introduced Alka to them. She revealed that her belt was the skin of a divine beast, and it's a legendary artifact from the Kunlun village that protected its user from all malice. When Alan arrived there, Lloyd revealed that he was able to enter the academy because of him. One day at night, Marie and Chrome took Lloyd to a village where there was a holy sword that couldn't be removed, and it was rumored that its owner could rule over the world. But Lloyd casually pulled it out, and with that done, the three went back to the kingdom. In the military academy, Lloyd was ahead in a race, while everyone else was struggling to keep themselves in one piece. When they went back to the class, all the students couldn't even sit properly, and Colin arrived to tell everyone that she was going to pick students for the upcoming inter-school competition against the Rokuju Sorcery Academy. During training, she told everyone that there were 3 types of magic, and told the students to practice on a dummy. Riho and Selin impressed Colin with their magic power, but when it was Lloyd's turn, he accidentally missed the dummy and destroyed everything that was in the way of his blast. He continued to practice, and eventually the dummy turned into ash, so Colin told Lloyd that he didn't have to practice anymore. When the students were resting, Selin asked Colin to teach her healing magic, as she wanted to cross the boundaries of horror with Lloyd and go on whole night, but Riho told her that it was the hardest magic to understand, and a lot could go wrong if the person didn't know what he was doing. Since it was the hardest magic, Alan thought that it should be the first magic they should learn. They needed someone to be injured, so Selin kicked him down the stairs, and all the other girls arrived to give him the time of his life and later practice on him. At Marie's home, 2 siblings from the Rokuju, Mina and Philo, visited her and showed Marie a picture of Riho to ask if she knew anything about her. Just when Mina showed her the pictures, they detected the presence of an extremely powerful being, and when Lloyd opened the door, Philo immediately kicked him in the head and the ribcage, but it didn't had any effect on him, and the dumb with one brain cell thought that she was trying to hit a fly, and apologized for getting in her way. He saw Riho's pictures, and told Mina that she studied at his academy, but Philo wasn't interested in that anymore, and offered Lloyd to be his personal stress relief machine if he would take her as his apprentice. Marie threw them out of her home, and sprinkled horny disabling salt on them. When Lloyd went to cook dinner, Alka arrived, and turned Marie into a butterfly, as she took Lloyd to the Holy Sword Village, and had fun without her. At night, Marie turned back into her real self, and Lloyd saw her plot, but he just went away without saying anything as she was ugly as f***.
No, that one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
The next day, the students were training, and Colin told Riho that she wanted to win badly because she hated the degenerate headmaster of the Rokuju Academy, when suddenly she arrived with Philo and Mina, and Selin asked Colin who she was. So she told her that Raul was her manipulative classmate who climbed her way to the top by bringing everyone else down. She threatened Riho to come back home if she didn't want to lose things dear to her, and awaited her answer on the day of the competition. When Lloyd arrived, Philo told him that she awaited his answer as well, and Selin got angry seeing him with another woman. He noticed that Riho was feeling sad, and when he was eating dinner later, he asked Marie that he wanted to cheer someone up and didn't know what to do. Marie thought that he was trying to ask her out and suggested him to go on a date and be dominant, so he thanked her and told her that he was going to ask Riho out tomorrow. The next day in the class, Selin gave a picture of Lloyd that she took secretly to Riho in hopes of making her happy, but she didn't care about that, and Alan was about to make a dirty joke to make her laugh, so he kicked him. As he was lying with his butt in the air, Lloyd asked Riho out on a date, and during the date, he asked what had happened to her as she was looking pretty depressed. Riho grew up in an orphanage, and she met Raul there who taught her magic, but because of her left hand, she couldn't do anything to support the orphanage. One day, Raul brought a mithril prosthetic arm for her, and she got happy thinking that she would finally be able to do some work. But Raul gave her the arm to use the power of mithril to pull out the holy sword, but it would kill Riho, so she ran away. She couldn't trust anyone properly after that, so Lloyd held her hand and told her that he would never betray her. But Selin arrived out of nowhere and got angry at Riho for not telling her this earlier. During practice, a strong student named Zal challenged Lloyd to a friendly duel, but Colin knew that she would get killed, so she made her fight Philo instead. When the duel started, she kept charging her magic to the maximum, and finally when it was fully charged, she leaped at her, but Philo yeeted her to the other end of the arena and ended the duel. Lloyd tried to help her, but she thought that he was looking down on her and pushed her hand away. She then visited Marie so she could get herself healed, and struggled to keep her feelings from Marie inside her. When Lloyd arrived, Zal got jealous as the love of her life lived with that skinny bitch and ran away. The next morning, it was the day of the inter-school competition, and Chrome revealed that the winner would get the holy sword as the prize. Riho got angry at Chrome and told him to explain how the sword that ruined her life got here. Since the winner would get the sword, Raul decided to turn herself into a student so she could win the competition, so Colin decided to put Lloyd into the competition as well. Meanwhile, Marie was about to go watch Lloyd in the competition, but Alka stopped her as she couldn't go as well, cursed her with a stomachache every 10 minutes. So she couldn't go, and told her to send non-stop apologies to her through the crystal if she wanted her to undo it. Selin and Philo went on the stage for the first battle of the competition, and Selin was sure that her belt would protect her from any attack. But the belt didn't react, and she got hit by lightning. She screamed at the belt saying it was supposed to protect her from any malice, but Philo had none in her heart, and kept attacking Selin non-stop. When she released her ultimate attack, the belt finally started to attack. And after blocking her attacks, she held Philo with the belt and was about to throw her out off the stage. But she got disqualified, as using the belt was against the rules, and Philo was declared the winner. For the next fight, Lloyd and Mina got on the stage, and when the duel started, she covered his face with water in hopes of suffocating him. But Lloyd casually held his breath for 20 minutes like it was nothing, so Mina surrounded him with a water tornado, but Lloyd just shoved her into the wall with a strong gust of wind, and was declared the winner. It was the last battle, and the arch-enemies rained fireballs at each other until Riho got hit by one. Since she was the one that put the arm on her, she knew how to take it out and rendered her defenseless. But she punched her and exploded her arm to damage Raul. However, she had put a healing magic stone in her arm and was about to destroy her with her ultimate attack. But Raul passed out before she could do anything. At night, Raul's subordinate told her that the person responsible for pulling out the sword was a witch, and she told Philo to go to her house and get the thing she was overprotective of. When Philo reached there, she saw Marie begging to a crystal, and when she went to the toilet, she got in and took the crystal ball. Lloyd arrived later on and thought that Marie had been kidnapped, as Philo had left a letter telling him to bring the holy sword to them. When Alan arrived there to get his pea monster treated from Marie as it wasn't standing up, Lloyd told her that Marie had been kidnapped, and they both went to the location mentioned in the letter. They encountered Philo there, and she immediately started to fight with Lloyd in a duel to death. He kept blocking her attack, but when he had enough of it, he told Philo to tell him Marie's location if he won, and he challenged her to decide this duel through arm wrestling. Their power was so high that Alan blew away from the force, but Raul's subordinate arrived and started to attack him with fireballs. However, Mina suffocated him by submerging his face in water, as she was tired of being treated as a tool by Raul, and they saw Lloyd and Philo's battling it out in the sky. He used a window spell that threw both of them to the ground, but Lloyd ended up winning the arm wrestle, and Philo asked him to marry her. However, Lloyd only wanted to know about Marie's location, and felt dumb when he realized that she was still in her house. Raul got angry seeing all of what, but Alka arrived through the crystal ball and exploded the room she was in. She got thrown into water, so Alan went to rescue her, and on the next day, she was admitted to the hospital and started to reflect on how badly she used Riho for her own gain. Despite everything she had done to her, Riho still cared about her and peeled apples for her, but didn't stop to listen to what Raul wanted to say to her. As the summer break was near, Selin wanted to spend all her time with Lloyd, but she was forced to go back to her home, and wondered if exploding her own home was a good option so she could get back to her meat provider. When Lloyd got back home, he saw Marie and Alka fighting with each other as they both wanted to be with him. But he told them that he was going away to do a part-time job in a big hotel that Chrome introduced him to. At the hotel, the owner Koba was waiting for the part-time worker and felt a deadly presence coming towards him, but got surprised when it turned out to be Lloyd. He showed him around the hotel and revealed that strange incidents were happening around the hotel, and people were found in a comatose state. He didn't know its cause, so Lloyd offered to help him in any way he wanted, and he took him to another worker, Kikayo, who loved to slack off while Koba wasn't looking. When he went away, Kikayo told him to do all the work, but before she could finish her sentence, Lloyd was already done cleaning, and even cleaned the whole ceiling in an instant. Koba was surprised by this, and Kikayo asked him if he was even human. When Lloyd wore his uniform, Koba told him that a major client was coming tomorrow, and he wanted his help with the reception, as the noble named Theo was difficult to deal with. He was Alan's father, and on the next day, he acted like a bitch to everyone. But he got interested in Lloyd, as they both loved forestry. Kikayo visited Theo at night, and they both thought that Koba was the one behind the comatose victims. An annoying local lord wanted to arrange a marriage of his daughter with his son Alan, and he had been buying trees and made a fortune with them, so he wanted to use this marriage to get information about his business. Theo told Kikayo that a demon treat was stolen from a laboratory, and according to the scientists, it made animals and humans its host and strengthened their physical abilities, making Kikayo think that it could be Lloyd. So on the next day when Lloyd was cutting vegetables, Kikayo gave him a spiked tea that would get rid of that demon treant inside him. But before he could drink it, Koba arrived and drank the tea himself, but instantly spilled it out as it tasted like shit. Kikayo jumped from the window, making Koba think that maybe she and Theo were behind those attacks. Riho decided to use all her prize money from the competition to stay at the hotel and ordered a massage, but was surprised to see Lloyd working there. Lloyd readied the massage, but she couldn't expose her plot to a virgin like him, and told him to get a woman for the massage. Selin also reached the hotel with her father later on, and she was supposed to be the one who would get married to Alan. She tried to escape from there, and told her father that she was betrothed to a Riz lord already, and couldn't accept a greasy man-child like Alan. But her father told her to shut the fuck up. They met with Theo later, and Selin was thinking about killing Alan the moment he entered the door, but she was surprised to see that it was Lloyd, and immediately got on top of him. Her father thought that she inherited the desire for meat from her mother, and when the two lovebirds went away, They decided to talk about business. Selin took Lloyd to an empty room and asked him to do things people do in these hotels, but Riho told her that it wasn't that type of hotel and asked if she didn't find it suspicious that Lloyd was Theo's son, but she just took it as a blessing from heaven and didn't care about it. Earlier in the day, Alan was found unconscious in a bath, so Theo decided to make Lloyd his son for the time being. Koba wondered why Theo used Lloyd as a stand-in for the arranged marriage, and vowed to himself to get to the bottom of this. Outside the hotel, the girls and Theo were planning to investigate what was going on in the hotel, and when they saw Shoma coming towards them with an order of firebombs, they immediately went to him. But Shoma had a gloomy look on his face when he saw Selin hugging Lloyd. He started to tell us Homa about joining the military academy, and he patted him in congratulations. He had to go to his next job, so he told them to take care of the delivery, and for the rest of the day, Selin tried her best to get close to Lloyd. And while they were on a boat in the middle of a lake, she told him that it wasn't possible for her to go on a date because of this belt. The belt was a part of her father's antique collection, and after it bound itself to her, people started to look at her in disgust, and she trained alone her whole life to get rid of this belt. She told Lloyd how precious he was, and how the others felt proud of him as well, but according to him, he couldn't have reached this point without the help from others. Kikayo was observing the two horny individuals from a distance, and when Selin went away and left Lloyd alone, she thought that it was the perfect opportunity for her to sneak up on him, but Lloyd detected her, and she had to make up an excuse of giving him a massage. Since he wanted to learn the massage techniques, he agreed, and Kikayo started oiling up his whole body, but she couldn't feel the demon treant anywhere, and thought that what she was looking for might be in his pants. As she shoved her hand down his pants, the detector of lust appeared, and stopped Kikayo from taking his virginity. But Kikayo grabbed her from behind and suplexed her. However, the belt protected her, and as they were about to fight each other again, Lloyd diverted Selin's attention by saying that this was a rather violent massage, and she used this opportunity to escape. Since there was oil over his body, Selin suggested that they should take a bath together, but the poor girl couldn't get any time alone with him at all, as all of his harem girls arrived there one by one. But unluckily, all their plot were covered by the belt, and you weebs were deprived of any fan service. They all talked about the illegal treant cultivation happening here, and since it was the cause of the people going to coma, Alka thought that it needed to be taken care of soon, else this whole place would be full of treats. When Lloyd accidentally stood up and gave the girls the sight of his eggplant, Philo threw Alka in the forest for taking a look at his important parts. Kikayo was observing everyone from the forest, but Theo's secretary arrived there, and he was revealed to be the host of the demon treant. He started to suck Kikayo's bodily fluids through his tentacles, but Lloyd arrived there looking for Alka, and thought that the secretary was wearing a cosplay. He spawned a bunch of treants, and the pea-sized brain thought that he was giving them a show. In the hotel, Theo, Koba, and Selin's father were having a meeting with each other, and Koba blamed this whole incident on Theo, as all this started after his first visit to the hotel. After Lloyd had defeated all the treants, he saw Minoki the secretary going towards the hotel, and he interrupted their meeting to reveal himself to be the person who was putting the people in a coma. He attacked them, but the harem girls arrived to protect them and used their magic on him, but it didn't have any effect, so Philo kicked him out of the hotel. Minoki attacked everyone, and Selin was about to get crushed under rubble, but her father pushed her out of the way and got buried himself. Riho woke up a sleeping Alan and told him to throw the firebombs at Minoki. They saved Mina and Philo before they got crushed, and rained firebombs at him while Mina held it in place using a water dragon, and Riho froze the water with ice magic. But the monster wouldn't die unless they destroyed his core. Selin tried to remove the rubble from on top of her father, and told him that she was in love with someone. As she was about to get crushed herself, Lloyd arrived there to throw the rubble into oblivion, and was surprised to learn that Minoki was actually a monster. He jumped at him, and with a single punch, he grabbed his core and crushed it, causing the monster to disappear. Shoma was witnessing this fight from a distance, and had buried Alka into the ground with a spell. Alka fixed the hotel through the whole night, and on the next day, Koba apologized to Theo for doubting him, but he was at fault as well, and gave Kikayo to him so he could finally put his dormant Excalibur to use. Selin's father apologized to her for not taking care of her properly, and told Lloyd to take care of his daughter. She immediately hugged him, and Alka expressed how tired she was after fixing the building, so Lloyd offered to give her a massage and fucking suplexed her. Shoma brought Zal to Sue and told him that someone had stolen her love from her, and she wanted power to get her revenge, so he told Shoma to give her medicine made of treants and demons' remains. She drank the medicine without thinking, and converted into a weird yet overwhelmingly powerful monster. Like usual, Lloyd prepared breakfast for Marie, and she asked him to hand feed her, but Selin shoved her belt in her face instead of the food. The girls were there to pick Lloyd up, as the government ordered the cadets to take care of a huge snake at a dungeon. They went to meet the king to get debriefed about the mission, and he turned out to be the most goofiest king in the planet. When they went to the dungeon, Alan stayed outside as a guard, and the girls mocked him for being a scary bitch. As Marie was walking around the town, Alka asked her if there was a dungeon nearby, and forcefully took her, so she could point out the way. Inside the dungeon, Lloyd went on ahead, but Selin and Philo were more interested on if Riho liked him, when suddenly they heard a loud thud, but it was just Alka and Marie who crash-landed in the dungeon. Marie stumbled upon a room full of treant roots, and she saw Zal in the middle of it with a treant parasite inside her. She never imagined to see her in a place like this, and told Marie that she was waiting to get her revenge on the person who took her love away from her, and revealed that it was Lloyd. But she couldn't tell Marie that she loved her. Zal then grabbed Marie with vines and started to give her tentacle play so Lloyd would come to save her, and she appeared to enjoy every sight of it.
But I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
She hugged her from underneath, but Lloyd arrived to save Marie, and the horny degenerate went into battle mode. She chased after Lloyd and started to attack him with her vines, but he dodged all of them, so she leveled up her speed, and with the power of Big Booba, she started to ragdoll Lloyd around the room, and blamed him for ruining her life. The girls heard this sound as well, and rushed to the room to see Lloyd fighting Zal. She used this opportunity to attack the girls, but Lloyd put his life on the line to protect the harem girls. She thought that having friends was a mistake, as they bring you down, but Lloyd was able to push on thanks to his friends, and they were everything to him. The two clashed with each other again, and the aftershocks of their attacks colliding caused the whole dungeon to break down, and they started to fall deeper into the dungeon. She threw Lloyd to the ground and used a huge vine to attack him, but he started to use this as a leash and tossed her toward the sky. When the fight was over, the girls immediately went to check on their pleasure provider, but they were interrupted by the giant snake Vritra, who was also watching this battle. He started to pat Lloyd, saying how much he had grown, and told everyone that he served as the guardian beast of Kunlun, and was responsible for maintaining Alka's powers. She had locked him in her for some reason, and Vritra started to rant about her, as she treated him badly, and even used his skin to make an apron. That was now the belt wielded by Selin. Sue entered the room, and Lloyd detected that he was a bad dude. Alka arrived there soon after, and she and Sue happened to have known each other for a long time. She didn't even remember why she put Vritra in here, and Sue used the distraction to eliminate him so Kunlun's seal would weaken, and Alka would lose her powers, but she was able to kick him towards the wall, as Vritra transferred his consciousness to the belt. Before leaving, Sue revealed that he wanted to unseal Kunlun, and the last dungeon that existed there. Alan tried to make his way to the group, as a lot of noises came from inside of the dungeon, and other guards around him thought that he was making the dungeon crumble with his powers. Before they would get crushed, Alka teleported everyone away using her crystal ball, and on the next day, Alan was rewarded with anything he wanted by the king, as everyone thought that he was the one who did all the work. At Marie's house, Alka trapped Selin in a bag, as she wanted to get Vritra fixed at Kunlun, and the belt was bound to her. They all made their way to the village of Kunlun, and all the girls got excited to go there for their own reasons. They reached the seal after some time, and Alka ordered the dwarf Yug to come forth. He shoved all of them through a teleporter, and they all reached the village of Kunlun. Unlike their imagination, Kunlun was normal like any other village, but when they reached the town, their bodies shivered, sensing the immense energy coming from everyone. They saw the inhuman villagers jumping around, and were shocked when an old lady threw a letter towards the mountain just to send someone a message. An old man got into a cannon and asked the Lady Locomo to fire him towards the mountain. Everyone got shocked and wondered if these guys were even human, but Lloyd told them that it was just the way they traveled around here. An old man named Pirit arrived at their location with a huge piranha, and he was the inventor of the fighting style that Philo used. But her soul left her body when she learned that it was just a morning exercise routine for these villagers. Riho offered to carry the piranha for the old man, and she could barely lift it. They reached Alka's mansion, and Colin asked her where Murthoffen was, so she told her that he was in the wheat fields. She and Chrome rushed there, and they saw Murthoffen working in the field, without barely any clothes on his body. He had adopted the life of agriculture, and Colin felt weird seeing him sitting beside her basically naked. He thought that she wanted to use the restroom, so he told her to go to the fields and fertilize the land, but she punched him and wondered why she fell for a guy like him. Selin saw Lloyd with a bunch of people and thought that they were his family members, so she gave all of them marriage forms for her and Lloyd's marriage. But her endeavors were interrupted by a huge dragon. Riho went outside to check on the monster, but she couldn't do anything against the monster and ran for her life. However, some children had converted the forms into paper planes and made the dragon run away, and even cut its horn with the paper plane. At night, everyone sat around the dinner table, and all of their food was revealed to be made out of monsters. Before the villagers left, they asked Lloyd which one was his girlfriend, so he told them that he just goes on all of them at once. A lady mentioned that Riho would be the best for him, and Pirid thought that Philo was the most suitable. But Selin and Alka weren't happy hearing this, as they wanted a piece of Lloyd as well. The girl then went to sleep, and Selin and Philo mocked Riho for receiving an expensive dress and plot coverage cloth from the villagers. She undressed, as she wanted to preserve these clothes, but Lloyd arrived there and saw her lovely plot, so Philo kicked him towards the mountain. Murthoffen apologized to Marie for everything he had done, and she asked about the person who manipulated him, so Murthoffen told her everything, and the information suggested that it was Sue. The next day, everyone woke up early to fix Vritra, and he got angry at Alka, as she didn't give a single fuck about anything. They eventually reached the last dungeon, and Riho thought that there must be great treasures inside it. But Alka told her that only demon lords existed in that place, and Yug revealed that all the other dungeons were just decoys built by the dwarves to hide the last dungeon. Alka's powers were out of control because of Vritra's current state, and if they inserted the dungeon key right now, all the demon lords would be released into the world. Riho asked about the key, so Yug told everyone that the key was the holy sword that was in the castle's treasury. He then took the belt and started to cook it as anyone would cook roasted pork, and converted Vritra into a ball. He was sealed for the time being, and Alka lost most of her powers, and Yug told everyone that she was just a normal child now. Remembering all the torture that ugly hag had put them through, they started to call her out, and Yug recommended them to take out their past grievances right now. But Alka's scary stare was enough to make Marie stay in distance. It was time for everyone to leave Kunlun, and Yug took Alka away as he had something to tell her in secret, but he trapped her in a pit and revealed that he was working with Shoma and Sue to unlock the last dungeon and rebuild this broken world. When he went back to everyone, he told them that Alka was gathering some stuff and Lloyd needed to do something as well, so they all went away. When Lloyd came, Yug asked him if he had seen Alka and told him that she might have collapsed somewhere, so he immediately went to find her. Yug then followed everyone, and seeing Murthoffen startled him, but he was just here to gather some vegetables. Yug told him that he had closed the gate behind him for a day, as he wanted to relax without Alka, and all the girls got sad, as they had to live without Lloyd for a whole day. Colin then took off with Murthoffen to have some kinky time, and everything was somewhat going according to Yug's plan. Riho had sold the dress and gotten a load of money from it, but selling the plot coverage cloth was going to be tough, so Mina told her to give OnlyFans a try and destroy her dignity while at it. She told Mina everything about their experience in Kunlun, and they both went to meet Raul, who had finished her book on how to take out a rival at workplace. They asked her about the individual who told her to get the holy sword, but her memory was hazy. However, a phrase she mentioned made Riho realize that it was Sue, and that there was a child with him who fit the description of Yug, making her get a bad feeling about all of this. She then went to the arena where an exhibition match between Alan and a person from the Jiu Empire would be held. She saw Shoma and Sue standing beside the king, and the girls wondered why they were there. Riho then went to meet the king and asked him to cancel the exhibition match, as his kingdom was in grave danger. He asked Chrome if they were trustworthy, and when he told him that they were Marie's friend, the king immediately obliged, and took Riho with him to discuss this. At Kunlun, Lloyd managed to find Alka, as he was once trapped into the same hole as well, and that made him think that she might be here as well. She hugged Lloyd, and vowed to not let the culprits destroy this world. As she rode Lloyd, she told everything to him, so he promised to go back and do the right thing. They went back to the village, and Pirid and Lokomo used their magic power to launch Lloyd towards the kingdom of Azami, and he used his own magic to travel even further. On the next day, the exhibition match started, but Alan's opponent was revealed to be Zal, who was still infested with the Trent parasite. Being the king of the Jew Empire, Su suggested King Azami to make an alliance between the two kingdoms and take over the whole world by combining their knowledge and wealth. Alan was getting beaten to a pulp, and Chrome was about to tell Azami something, but he got scared by Shoma's insanely powerful aura. Azami told Su that he caused a lot of hardship for everyone when he was taken over by Abaddon, but now he had vowed to never let any harm come to the kingdom and its residents. Hearing this, Su signaled Yug, but the girls surrounded him and revealed that they were aware of his plans. He used magic balls to summon an army of locust monsters, and Su told Azami to act fast if he wanted to protect everyone. But the whole crowd was actually replaced with soldiers and adventurers. Murthoffen stripped for no particular reason and began fighting Shoma. He told him that he was bored of the whole world, but he didn't want it to make Lloyd feel the same, and did his best to make sure Lloyd got everything he wanted, and put the world in a little pinch, so Lloyd could be a hero. He yeeted Murthoffen away, and as everyone was fighting the monsters, Zal arrived and attacked them. But Riho put Marie out of harm's way. She then chased after Marie, but instead of attacking, she just rubbed her hands on Marie's face multiple times. It kept going on, so Philo kicked her into a wall, and Azami was being chased by Su, who wanted the holy sword, but Alan came in from behind and slashed his arm off. However, Su attached it back and told everyone that he was made of runes. Long ago, when the world was in chaos, Alka created him using runes as a beacon of hope to save humanity, and he was supposed to vanish after the world was saved, but he couldn't disappear. He continued to live on, but he was bound to the concept of being a hero and to vanish completely from this world. He needed to kill Alka and turn Lloyd into a hero so he could stop being the hero and finally die. As the battle was going on, Lloyd made his heroic entrance, and everyone got happy seeing him back. But the only thing he was worried about was he couldn't see Alan fight, and told Yug to stop being a horrible person. Yug wondered how naive and dumb one person could be, but when the girls told him that Yug had summoned all these monsters, Lloyd killed the locust he was riding, and he used his lollipop to summon a huge golem monster that used Zal as a life source. It attacked Lloyd, but he blocked his punch with his hands, and wondered if he was strong enough to beat the monster. He launched the monster in the air, but the monster came back and got his arm destroyed, but it regenerated instantly. Lloyd then slashed its whole body, but the monster kept using Zal to regenerate himself, and almost turned him into ash with a light beam. When Lloyd leaped into the air to attack him, the monster threw him towards a wall and kept beating him relentlessly. Marie realized that they had to somehow get Zal back in her senses, and as the monster kept beating Lloyd like a cockroach, Murthoffen stopped its attack and made him remember what it meant to be a hero, and told him that he had dreams to achieve. Riho screamed at Zal, but she didn't react at all, and as Murthoffen kept fighting the monster relentlessly, Lloyd got the courage to get back on his feet and remembered that his dream was to smile on the people close to him like a hero. Riha bribed Zal with Marie's plot coverage clothes, and she immediately freed herself from the monsters and grabbed the thing to rub it on her face like a degenerate.
This is a sickness of the highest order.
Selen managed to steal the ball that contained Vritra from Yug, and made him convert back into the belt by constantly annoying him with her ugly voice. Lloyd spun the monster around to throw it into the air, and used wind magic to completely get rid of it. Shoma and Su were recording Lloyd fighting, and their first step to perfectly capture the new hero of this world was fulfilled. Yug realized that the only reason they helped him was to make Lloyd a hero, and since Vritra was back, Alka had gained her powers back and destroyed all the monsters in the arena. As she was about to finish him off, Shoma saved Yug, and the three of them went away, as they had heroic footage of Lloyd to edit. The kingdom was saved for the time being, and everyone got together to enjoy lunch at Marie's house. Set your heart ablaze, go beyond your limits, and watch this next video.